Welcome back, students. Now the next topic is bacteria role in agriculture. So bacteria are very important in the field of agriculture also. Certain things you already know, such as nitrogen fixing bacteria. We have studied in class 8 that rhizobium, the nitrogen fixing bacteria which lives in the root nodules of leguminous plants, it converts the atmospheric nitrogen into the nitrites and nitrates. So as you know that plants cannot take nitrogen gas. They need nitrogen but not in the form of gas which is present in the atmosphere. It has to be converted into nitrogenous compounds such as NO2 and NO3. Okay, nitrates and nitrites. So this is made possible either by rhizobium. So one example of bacteria, rhizobium, which lives in the root nodules. If you remember, we have drawn the diagram also. This one, the leguminous plants such as beans, grams and all, in their root they have nodules in their roots. These nodules, they are actually the bunches or the nodules which there are aggregates of bacteria, and these bacteria, they can convert atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compounds which can be then used by the plants. So one way is conversion of nitrogen into nitrogenous compounds. So this is we call as nitrogen fixing bacteria. Then the other certain free living bacteria which are helpful in this process are the certain examples, Azotobacter and Clostridium. They also use the free nitrogen of soil and they convert it into ammonia with hydrogen, which in turn gets converted into amino acids, nitrates, and they enrich the soil. They enrich the soil with all these nitrogenous compounds, and as you know, then these will get mixed with water and they can be absorbed by the roots. Okay, so secondly, if this process is performed by bacteria, we say biological nitrogen fixation. This is biological, means natural. Biological nitrogen fixation. So same thing can be done in industries. In industries also, we can convert nitrogen into nitrogenous fertilizers and we can convert them into compounds. Like you might have read NPK, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. Okay, so that we will say industrial fixation, but this is biological nitrogen fixation. So one way is this. Then second way is nitrifying bacteria. So plants need nitrogen. So one way is that certain bacteria like rhizobium and azotobacter or clostridium, they can convert nitrogenous gas into nitrogenous compounds, right? And then there are certain other bacteria which can break down the dead bodies of plants and animals, and they convert when they break down, as you know that bacteria are saprophytes, so they break down the dead plants and animals and then they convert their remains into ammonia, and from ammonia they will get converted into ammonium compounds, and from ammonium compounds then nitrites and nitrates. So again nitrogen in form of nitrites and nitrates will be made available. How? They will enrich the soil. Okay, the soil will get enriched by nitrogenous compounds. So you can see here, this is atmospheric nitrogen. This is nitrogen cycle. So atmospheric nitrogen is converted by, one is biological fixation as I told you, by rhizobium. So it gets converted into nitrates, NO2, NO3 for example. Secondly, I told you that same thing can be done in industries. Then we will say industrial fixation. So in industries we are converting into ammonia, then nitrites, then nitrates. So everything is getting mixed in soil. We can say soil gets enriched with all these nitrogenous compounds and plants will get nitrogen. Okay, the other way I told you, that is nitrification. Nitrification means conversion of dead plants and animals into nitrogenous compounds by certain bacteria. These are called nitrifying bacteria. So they convert, suppose these are plants, there are animals. After their death, then they will be decayed by bacteria, and bacteria will convert these dead plants and animals into nitrites, nitrates. So there are two these ways bacteria are very, very helpful, and they enrich the soil. Fine. So the bacteria which convert dead plants and animals into nitrogenous compounds, we call them nitrifying bacteria, and the process is called nitrification. See, here it is written, plants need nitrogen for synthesizing proteins, but they cannot make use of free atmospheric nitrogen. They can obtain it only in the form of nitrates, which they absorb from the soil through roots. So these nitrates are replenished in the soil, means the soil is made rich by these nitrates by the bacteria through the process of nitrification. So for this, some bacteria first convert nitrogenous waste of animals, dead plants and dead animals into ammonia. Then ammonia is converted into compounds like nitrites and nitrates. So example of those bacteria is, one is Nitrosomonas and second one is Nitrobacter. So please remember, Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter are the bacteria which bring about the process of nitrification, or which enrich the soil with nitrogenous compounds by converting the dead remains of plants and animals into nitrates. Fine. And same way we have denitrifying bacteria also. Denitrifying bacteria are those which are present in the soil, and they can convert these nitrates back into nitrogenous gas. There are certain bacteria in the soil already present. What they can do? They can convert these nitrates into nitrogenous gas. So this way nitrogen is used by plants with the help of bacteria, and same way some bacteria are helping to convert back these nitrates into nitrogenous gas. So this is called nitrogen cycle. Okay, so which bacteria can cause conversion of nitrates into nitrogenous gas? The example is Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas. And the process is known as denitrification. Denitrification. Here they have mentioned as denitrifying bacteria. These are the bacteria present in the soil which break down the soil nitrates to release nitrogen gas N2 that enters the atmosphere. So example is Pseudomonas. Okay. Then we have bacteria role in industry. In industries also bacteria are very important. There are many uses of bacteria, but few examples they have given. For example, flavors of tea. Different flavors of tea are produced by certain bacteria, and this process is called tea curing. Similarly, leather tanning. We have read that leather is primarily brought about by sunlight, but certain bacteria break down the soft perishable parts of the skin. Hide, it is called hide. Actually leather, that is the dermis part of the skin, it is not easy to take out the leather from that skin or to remove that skin, because it is tightly attached with the cells and tissues. But only these bacteria, some bacteria can cause the breakdown of these. They can break down those cells, or you can say those enzymes, and then that skin can be removed. So we say leather tanning. So in industries also bacteria are very, very important. Okay, so this was all about uses of economical importance of bacteria. First we have studied in medicine, where we talked about vaccination, serums and antibiotics. And then we studied about in agriculture, how they are useful. And now we have studied a little bit in role of industry. Now let us see some harmful effects of the bacteria. So as you have studied that bacteria are harmful also, spoilage of food is caused by bacteria. So some examples they have given, so let us go through it. Like many bacteria spoil cooked food, milk, fruit, vegetables, because they decay them, they cause fermentation of them, and this spoilage may sometimes to that extent it can cause food poisoning. So this food poisoning is very serious type. When the food poisoning becomes very serious type, then it is called botulism. Botulism is the serious type of food poisoning which may be harmful or means dangerous for the lives if we consume such kind of food. So therefore, preservation of food and making it free of disease or germs is very, very important. So we all are practicing all these days, like immediately after preparing the food, what we do when the food comes to the normal temperature after cooking, we are refrigerating, or sometimes we are using certain other ways so that we prevent the fermentation by bacteria. So first is boiling, how we can prevent the food. Now this topic is food preservation. So it can be either by boiling or heating at high temperature, like we boil milk, we boil certain liquids, so that, because after a certain temperature all the bacteria or the germs present will be killed, because they cannot survive in these temperature, for example 110 degrees Celsius. Okay, then same way sometimes the next process we use is salting. Salting, as you know, in case of making pickles, fishes and foods, we apply a lot of salt, because with what will happen, treatment of with salt will prevent degradation under normal conditions. The microorganisms or the bacteria cannot break down that particular food if it is very much salty. Then this is also known as currying. Okay, dehydration or drying, sometimes we go for dehydration, like we keep the things in sunlight. Most microbes cannot grow without water. As you know, these microbes, they need moisture for their growth. So for by dehydration, such as laying the grains in open in the sunlight, meat, fish, vegetables, etc., is an effective method of preservation. Dried milk, like you have seen milk powder, so we can preserve it for such a long time. Similarly, you might have seen raisins and all, we are preserving for a lot of time. Irradiation also kills bacteria. Certain strong radiations like ultraviolet light is used. Basically these are used in operation theaters, in hospitals. So first the room is treated with radiations or radioactive substances, so that the bacteria and the germs are killed. Okay, we sterilize by this. Similarly, next process is pasteurization. Pasteurization is a technique of partial sterilization applied usually to milk. Pasteurization is particularly used for the milk. As you know that we heat milk, when it is heated above a temperature of 60 degrees, then we can save it, preserve it for a long time. And then immediately after boiling at 60 degrees, immediately then we will keep it in the refrigerator. We will bring it at chilling position, chilled quickly, we have to make it chilled. So pasteurization will kill majority of bacteria. You might have studied, this was given by Louis Pasteur very first time, and he discovered that if you boil and then immediately make it chilled, then it prevents the growth of germs. Same way refrigeration. So microbes do not grow and multiply below freezing point of water. So chilling of milk and keeping vegetables and fruits in cold storage. So you might have heard about cold storage, where they keep the things so that they cannot be perished, they cannot get destroyed. Okay, and then strong concentration and chemicals. Jams and pickles do not get spoiled, they have strong concentration of sugar. We add so much of sugar, so much of salt in pickles and jams, right, in all these things, because increased concentration of these will cause the death of any bacteria or mold. And sometimes preservatives like sodium benzoate is also added in the tinned foods and squashes, right? So just you need to give a look to all these things. So now in the next video we will start with the review exercise. Thank you.